Hello, hello, hello. It's me, Vince McMahon, aka Seckswrecks, stalling for time. We're gonna start off by playing a little game called Bobo Robo. Um, I'm ready to go. Hopefully we're ready on time, which should start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so you saw there on the screen I could have pressed either Z or X to start. Those are my two buttons. Z is going to jump, which I'm doing quite a bit so far, and X will shoot this gun I just picked up. There are, however, more buttons. There's directional inputs, believe it or not, and then there's a second jump button, which is default bound to W, but I am a dirty cheater using a fancy keyboard so that it is no longer W, and it is my C key. So what happens when you hit one of the jump buttons directly after the other, there's sort of a coyote time effect where since you're already in the air and you left the air only a few frames ago, when you hit the jump button and you jump again, your second jump sends you a little bit higher. It's called the super jump, and it allowed me to get that key without having to do that room the other way around. So this game is kind of like a little Metroidvania, except right away it's going to diverge in that I used a save point. Super Metroid runners don't look. So we're going to start out by finding parts for our ship and repairing them, because we are a little robot that crash landed hundreds of years ago, and we need to figure out what's going on. Kill that bat. And you see the buttons kind of have that little trace falling to where they go, and it sends out a pulse while they're active. So what I just did there was activate the pause menu while I was falling into my ship and respawned at the save point to skip a cutscene where the ship introduces itself. And then, for whatever reason, you don't respawn at a respawn point, so you have to respawn twice. Yeah, the name of the game is Bobo Robo. There's a silent T in robot. But I like Bobo Robo because it rhymes, and it's fun to say, Bobo Robo. So what I did there was jump into water, which normally robots don't like, so that's why I took damage. And then for whatever reason, that door won't open normally when you press the button to enter that way, so you have to do a quick respawn. And we're going to do some quick key smuggling here, where I grab this key and take it somewhere it's not really supposed to be. But before I can do that, I need to fight the one boss in the game, which is the Frog King here. But this guy won't let me go see him. However, we learned that this guy doesn't like being stared at. So we're just going to stare at him for a little bit, and he's going to get a little nervous, and he'll start bouncing around, and he'll be like, all right, fine, fine, fine. You can go. Also, when I came here in the first place, I jumped 5 times on the platform, and that opened the door. That's another one of the progression items in this game that is not an item, but is in fact just game knowledge, which allows you to do some interesting sequence breaks on top of the other normal sequence breaks that are in this game. So we fight the big vector frog, and he's like, oh, I thought you were one of the evil robots, but you're cool? Well, here, I'll give you some slime. And slime is nice because it gives you IP6, I think that's what it is, rating, like an iPhone. And we can now go up to 5 meters below the water without having to worry about anything. Something like that. So just do a quick death warp back to our ship. And now it's time to smuggle the key into what is normally the first area of the game. Missed my shot on that button. And bring it over here, right to the door, skipping the part of this area where you get the key normally. We will have to return here and get the key, but you'll see why I can't do this all in one trip in just a moment. So here I can grab my ship's gun, which is important. Normally you need it to access the area there on the bottom left. You shoot the little wall there and it breaks and it lets you go in. But now we need to return to the first area of the game so that we can travel across the water towards this wrecked ship, which is something I've never seen in any sort of action platformer. I think they call it search action game in Japan. Totally new concept of visiting a wrecked ship through the starting area of the game. And we pick up the ID card. You'll see I'm pausing a lot. While the pause menu is up, the in-game timer stops running, but like the in-game logic still happens. So that lets you save a little bit of time on the in-game timer at the end of the run. It's one of the little quirks about sock pop games. So yeah, I haven't mentioned that this game is by it's produced by a game dev collective known as Sock Pop, who release 2 games a month in sort of a kind of like a rolling game jam sort of fashion, and they cost $3. But if you're subscribed on their Patreon, you get all of them, and that can be as little as $3 a month. So you basically, if you commit to buying them, you get them all at half price. So what I just did there is I shot the walls that my ship's gun weren't strong enough to break, and then I went into the big ship, which you're supposed to commandeer and use to break those walls. But for whatever reason, all you need to have done is have shot the walls and then control the big ship, and then it goes, okay, I guess those walls are broken. I don't really understand it. And now we're here in the final area of the game. Gonna use a save point because, you know, just to highlight that this definitely isn't Super Metroid at all. It's got these last 2 buttons to press with some cheeky save warps in between. Ooh, that's not good. I was going so nice up until that. So I shot that button a little bit early because the signal from the button has a long way to travel before it activates this elevator. So there's plenty of time to get on the elevator before it starts moving. Just a little itsy bitsy time save. Then we fall down and split into 2 and become 1 tile high. That's how you know this is really a Metroid game. That's normally a power-up that you collect throughout the run, but we skip that, just like the majority of the game. So that's the end of that run. Just gonna let this finish out so I can see what my in-game time was. All right, now on to the next one.
Well done, very beautiful.
Thank you, thank you. Just gonna hold on a minute while the game capture catches up. All right, so here's Popo's Tower. The plot of this game is that you're a pilot and your plane crashed, which is not the intended use case of a plane. So you got to figure out how to get off this island. And this big stonehead guy says that you can start by heading to the Shrine of the Silver Monkey, but you have to watch out for temple guards. And in the tower, there is there's going to be a little boy who can, he wants brought to him, and if we bring the boy, he'll help us fix our plane. So this is a 3D platformer with some parkour elements. There's the temple guards. I don't have any of those little emblems to hand them to get out free, so we better avoid getting grabbed. I'm going to need to collect 9 of those stars that I have 2 of now. We're going to do the first glitch here, where we want to bonk off this rock right as we pass through the plane of the water here. So that we are now walking in the water. Yeah, it's a 3D platformer where you collect stars. It's basically Super Mario 64. Oh! That was a wild save there. So first off, we're going to get our double jump. Which, you know, every good platformer has a double jump. And I just jump right into the water because I'm trying to be fancy. Okay. So normally, when you jump away from a wall, the game won't let you jump directly back at the wall to prevent you from being able to just climb up one wall like I just did there. But because I jumped at just the right angle and then turned around midair before I jumped again, it just kind of works. So there again, you can see that by walking off the edge rather than jumping off of it, I can use both of my jumps while I'm already in the air, which not only lets you get the little bit of extra distance that you fell, but your second jump has more lateral momentum. And since you're already in the air, both of those jumps count as second jumps, so you get just that little bit extra lateral momentum, which lets some of these things happen. And again, we've got the pausing to stop the in-game timer while I wait for that bridge to fall, which I'm going to need a little bit later, as we kind of go through this area a little bit backwards than what is sort of the natural path through here. The run I'm doing is 100%, so I will be collecting all 6 of these special parts of the plane that are optional to grab. As well as 9 stars in total. I think I already said that. And the little boy who Olmec wants. A couple keys while we're at it, because there's some doors that need keys and some doors that need stars. It really is Mario. Here's a fun little bit of platforming where we do more of those kind of angled jumps. Sneak up there kind of quick like. And we skip a whole tower by using those delayed jumps. And we get the drop kick, which everyone knows acts as a triple jump. If you're just already in the air and you just drop kick, you get more lateral momentum. The Legends of the Hidden Temple references are just a little tongue-in-cheek joke. They're not actually the plot of the game. I just see a big stone head wanting me to collect things, and guards trying to reach out and grab me, and that's all I can think. Shoutouts to the silver monkeys, the blue barracudas. No, it's the silver snakes, the blue barracudas, and the It's been 20 years since the 90s. I don't remember any of this stuff anymore.
All right, to jump in with a small little announcement real quick.
Yeah.
Excellent. We have just opened up on our page our incentives for Celeste. So we have a lot of incentives open in terms of the Deadline skin, the Grabless 1C showcase, doing Chapter 2 B-side during the run, as well as the Dance Pad runs input displays. So those are all now open. Make sure to get your donations in.
Alright, so I'm gonna go for this. It basically has not worked at all during practice, which is a really long and complicated climb up there, and it didn't work, so we're just gonna abandon that plan. Oh geez, that's a lot of spaghetti. I see the question, how this could be considered a Celeste fan game. The devs are fans of Celeste, I know that for a fact. Although this isn't really much of a Celeste game, Celeste-like. Should be able to bring up the schedule. Yeah, there you go. Not hashtag. That's not a hashtag, you boomer. That's an exclamation point.
You heard it here first. Tweet hashtag schedule on Twitter in order to get that schedule link.
Yeah, so now we're inside the tower. Just like the last area where things get a little weird. Stop having... things are a little less grounded in reality, and by that I mean the buildings float instead of reaching all the way to the ground. And everything kind of has this sort of up and down bobbing sway to it, which means that you have to kind of keep track of your cycles. It can be a little tough to do while moving quickly. So there's the cage with the little boy in it, but we avoid talking to him for now, because we don't have the key to open it yet. Try this little cheeky move here. Oh, unfortunately, when the guard is standing to where you can jump directly over his head, the animation is very funny, so I like to do it whenever I can. He was not standing in an ideal place for that right now. So we're just getting our second key, which allows us to enter the top level of the castle, so we can go to Wet Dry World and Cold Cold Mountain. Or no, that's not Cold Cold Mountain, that's Snowman's Land. Tall Tall Mountain. Tiny huge island. There we saw the guard raise his hands in the air like he just don't care. So now that we finally talked to the little clown boy, he's like, hey, go get a key. And I'm like, hey, I already got the key. And he's like, all right. So he takes the wand, because he's like, you don't even know how to use the wand. Which is true. I do not know how to use the wand. I'm just doing a little cheeky death warp there. But then we're just going to abandon the boy, because it's faster to move without him. You can't double jump with him, or drop kick, and you run just a slight bit slower. What he does do is use the wand to make some platforms appear. But since we are hardcore parkour gamers, we don't need those platforms. So yeah, just here I gotta wait for this cycle for this kind of lavender looking one to get down to the bottom part of its movement and get our last star here. Hopefully, rather painlessly. Oh, this is not painless. Okay, at least I didn't fall. More death warps, because everybody loves death warps. Now we can pick the clown back up. Where no one's really sure whether Popo is the name of the stone head or the clown. I think it's the clown, but that's just my opinion. Sound off in chat if you think Popo is the clown or the stone head. It's clearly not the pilot, because it's not his tower. He just flew over it and had his plane crash. So we've got just a little bit of backtracking cleanup to do to get to some platforms that you couldn't reach without the clown. Oh, Popo is the friends we made along the way. Well, yeah, so it's the clown.
I mean, Popo just seems like a clown name, right? Like just
It does. It
right.
does. Very much not a giant stone head name. one last part of my ship. Oh. I don't remember what they all are. There's like gold rims, a bobblehead, a cool sticker. Yeah, that was the bobblehead figure. I can take the ending a little slow and see what all the 6 parts were. But now all that's left doing is bringing the clown back to the Stonehead, and then the Stonehead, who is very clearly our friend and cool and good, is just going to benevolently help us fix our plane, and then we can fly away. And that'll be the end of this. Oh, we got a little cutscene. What's going on? What? Oh, he's mad. Oh no, the Stonehead was bad the whole time, and he doesn't like the clown. But we like the clown, so we're gonna save the clown from the Stonehead. Instead of throwing him into some bombs, we just throw rocks at him. And then I bonk into a wall instead of walking up the stairs. And return Popo to our plane. There you can see it does a little repair action. We got the windshield, the wing mirrors, the flag, the bobblehead, a cool sticker, golden rims. And a playtime of 11 minutes and 19 seconds. Alright, on to the next one. So keeping the theme going. More sock pop games. Oh wait, this is the wrong game. Pretend you didn't see anything. I don't even know if you saw anything.
Sock pop.
Alright, so this is Fishy 3D. It's a game where you're a fish and you're 3D.
Sold.
So here we're doing some fish parkour. Come on, come on! Nope. Come on, come on! Ah! There we go, there we go. Fish parkour. First try. Alright, so we sneak through the fence. And just like Popo's Tower, this is a game about collecting stars and being a fish. Actually, you're multiple fish because we do a new fish warp there. Save a little time. And now I fail this jump like 6 times again. Or just go right over it. And then normally you need to bring a little bobber to the plug that's blocking that drain. But if you're as small as our fishy friend can be, you can just kind of sneak right through. So the main mechanic of the game, which I haven't interacted with basically at all yet, actually entirely at all, is that you can eat food and grow bigger, just like in real life. And eventually, you know, you can eat the other fish and become the biggest fish on the block and whatnot. But that's slow. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just kind of do some fishy platforming. And jump out of bounds, because it's not a good speed run unless you go out of bounds at some point. Yeah, so we also grabbed a moon. Those are like the bonus collectibles of this game. We're just doing any percent, not 100%, so we won't be collecting the moons. We only need 7 stars for this one. So here, we gotta come back inbounds by bouncing on that rock. So get this star over here. Wow, that was kind of weird. And sneak in again through that drain pipe. Some more parkour. And finally, we get a little destructive, and we push the bomb button, because every fish loves pushing big red buttons that make bombs appear out of holes in the wall. Yeah, this is Fish Celeste. not sure if we tweeted about the opening of the Celeste donation incentives for the runs coming up later on in the marathon, or what exactly the situation is there, but we are playing Fishy 3D. So as you can see, I am a fish, and the game is also in 3D. Alright, so now that we have 7 stars, we can hit this padlock, and it's a master lock, so you just kind of have to look at it funny, and it falls open. And we're going to want to bring that on screen just a little bit, so that... So our frog friend, who's covered in slime, who I have determined is the same frog from Bobo Robo earlier on, he won't move in the water. The water won't push him around unless he's on screen. And we kind of want him out of our way, so we had to get him on screen just a little bit there. And now we've finally eaten something, so that we're big enough to pull this plug out. And then we just do one last death warp here by intentionally getting caught. And as you can see, the water level is rising since we pull that drain plug out. And we can escape to the sea! Alright, so that was Fishy 3D.
Sock pop.
And so that was 3 dimensions. But I think
Sock pop.
I think we can do it in 2. So this is Fishy. It is very much the same concept, except with only 2 of the dimensions instead of 3 of them. Except in this one you get a dash, so it's even more like Celeste. I want to eat some of these little purple fish. I think I'm big enough now, yeah. Pop that cork out. Oh, I got 8. That's not good. So, unlike Fishy 3D, you don't want to ever die in this one. The route doesn't include any death warps. That was not a good thing. Hopefully we can get things back on track here. I just want to get nice and big before I start the actual sort of gameplay progression here. Just because there's some tricky bits if you're not big enough coming up. That should be big enough. Eat that hot dog. Couple last fish. Let me grab this little bobber thing. Bring it on back. Yeah, I'm looking for the metal slime fish, so that I can grind up enough levels to complete my Fish Warrior, also known as Fish Quest. Alright, so normally I would insist that cephalopods are friend-shaped, but these cephalopods are not my friend. And they'll latch onto you and then basically shrink you. Which is why I got so much size, and I think I might have shrunk too much. Yeah, I can't grab that ball anymore. Gotta be careful not to get caught there. I have my mouth open a little close to that hot dog. Come on. There we go. Ah! Okay, so that should be enough. Oh no. Cephalopod, please. Be a friend. Oh, it got me just small enough that I can't finish. Time for more grinding. And the slightly awkward sound of the cephalopod attacking other fish. Oh god, these fish up here got really big. Hopefully I don't get eaten myself. Ah! I had to say it, didn't I? No, you can't eat the octopi. Yo, shoutouts to Blazeball. Any other Hawaii Fridays fans in the chat? York is still my dork, even if he's not on the Fridays anymore.
Whenever you can shout out Blazeball is always a good time, in my opinion.
Exactly. The coffee cup didn't go my way. Obviously, I was cheering for Royal POS with my boy York. They got knocked out first round. But that was sure some entertaining Blazeball. I can't wait to see what happens with the coffee cup next week. If you're confused about what I'm talking about, don't worry, it's Blazeball. No one knows what's going on.
Speaking of high-value entertainment, by the way, make sure to get your donations in so we can meet some of these incentives. In addition to our Celeste incentive, we also have incentives open for our Mikazu run going on later on. Vibe with the Universe. I'm personally interested to see what that's about, as well as playing the Dillo Inferno bonus stage. So get those donations in. Let's see them.
Should be big enough now. I have stalled for enough time. I think we're ready for the next run. I hope we're ready for the next run, because I'm running out of games to play. There we go. Pull this last plug out. And that's time.
GG.
Thank you, thank you. I've been Seckswrecks. This whole shebang is sort of been left in my care now. Hope everyone sticks around for the rest of the weekend, enjoys some speed runs, donates to the White Bear Emergency Food Shelf, which is a great cause and doing great work in these uncertain times, which is a phrase that I really hoped I didn't have to say, but I just did. Anyway, stay tuned for the next run, which I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's Shantae. I think it's Shantae. I'm going to go ahead and say Shantae.
Jumping Flash.
Yep, Jumping Flash 2, exactly.
Oh,
yes.
Jumping Flash. That's right. It's not Shantae. I lied. It's Jumping Flash, which is it's a very PlayStation game. Very, very PlayStation.
But that is an excellent plug for Shantae later on in the marathon, so make sure you don't miss that. But excellent. Thank you so much for that run, Seckswrecks. Excellent show.